welcome to Mind Brain Talks, the place where you find diverse and scientifically accurate information regarding psychology, psychotherapy, neuropsychology, neuroscience, and research methods every single week. My name is Bruno Faustino. I am a licensed clinical psychologist and neuropsychologist who's been working as a therapist, researcher, and educator for the past few years. Here in Mind Brain Talks, I discuss and describe different topics from psychology to neuroscience, and I try to explain them the best as I can for you to understand a little bit more about it. All contents here are just for educational purposes, and it's not intended to diagnose any psychiatric condition or neurological disorder. So, without further delay, let's jump for today's content. So today, let's talk about the neuropsychology of personality. The neuropsychology of personality, it's a very important field because it's the field where we try to explore the neuronal basis of the personality traits. So there are lots of discussions and this is an ongoing theme. But first, let's see the manuals that I recommend to you today. The first is the principles of neuropsychology. The second is the fundamentals of human neuropsychology. The third is the Neuropsychology Handbook. The fourth is the Handbook of Clinical Neuropsychology. The fifth is Neuropsychological Assessment. And the sixth is the Clinical Neuropsychology. So now let's take a brief look on the neuropsychology of personality. Personality, it's a concept that tends to be used to describe a set of features that manifest a unique profile of an individual. These unique set of characteristics are defined as the personality traits. Typically, these traits may be manifest in core beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, motivations, and needs. Neuropsychology of personality tends to explore the neural basis. Typically, we are talking about the brain structures and neurotransmitter systems of personality traits. Neuropsychology of personality explored also the neural correlates between neurocognitive skills and other personality traits. Correlations between executive functions and openness to experience is just a simple example of these neuronal correlates that are studied in the neuropsychology of personality. Previously, relationships between brain structures and personality traits were detailed in one major case that allow us to have some different ideas about how the brain may correlate with personality traits. This was the case of Phineas Gage, where the destruction of the orbitofrontal cortex led to profound personality changes. These changes were impulsivity, risk behavior, and decision-making deficits. In this sense, clinicians start to understand that there may be some correlates between brain structures and some personality traits. In this case, we are talking about the destruction of the orbitofrontal cortex, which is an area related with decision-making and affective modulation, which implied some modifications on the Phineas Gage personality. Several studies explored the correlates between neurocognitive function and personality traits. I give here two examples. Deficits in attention, immediate and delayed memory, visual-spatial abilities, and language correlated with the trait impulsivity in borderline personality disorder. Openness to experience correlate more strongly with verbal crystallized intelligence than executive function and fluency. So this shows that our personality trait openness is more strongly related with verbal crystallized intelligence than executive function and verbal fluency. These are just two examples of a very strong body of research that tends to explore several neural correlates between neurocognition or neurocognitive abilities with personality traits. But this is just a small representation of this body of research. So, as I said before, some personality traits may be correlated with the frontal lobe. Typically, we are talking about planning and judgment, mental organization, problem-solving abilities, decision-making abilities, other personality traits, abstraction, and affective modulation. So, the frontal lobe tends to be described as the major aspect or the major neuronal structure associated with personality and personality traits. However, we can trace other personality traits to other brain structures, okay? But I will leave that for future videos. So by taking a localizationist approach, we see that the frontal lobe may be the major neuronal structure that is very associated with different personality traits. Personality may be located in the major divisions of the frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex, orbital frontal cortex, and cingulate cortex, or even ventromedial cortex. So, several personality traits tend to change when some of the structure of the frontal lobe gets some type of damage. So now let's see the summary and key points. Neuropsychology of personality explores neural correlates between neurocognitive skills and personality traits. We saw also that the destruction of the orbitofrontal cortex led to profound personality change, which implies a relationship between the frontal lobe and personality, alright? So, this is just an introductory video of the neuropsychology of personality, but in the future I will detail more of these issues in further videos, okay? So stay tuned. Well, it's all for today. Don't forget to see the video description regarding today's theme if you want to see the manuals and the books that I recommend to you. Also, if you like what I'm doing, please consider to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. You can use the comment section below to express your mind and to express your thoughts. Let me know what you think about all the things that you saw here. Welcome to Mind Brain Talks, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!